My name is Rio Attoh-Wood. I'm a voiceover and actor, and yeah, that's kind of like the cusp of, I guess that's my identity here in this world. Yeah, so I'm a part of this amazing project written by Jenny and David. It's an amazing project because it touches on some real subject matters that are around us. Well, I grew up around it, growing up in South London, Brixton. You see a lot of addicts around, and it's so easy to label them. But they actually have identities. they exist in this system, and they have personalities. They have souls. They are people that exist, and it's good to just touch base on, normal people somewhat becoming fully fledged addicts. I say it fully fledged like it's some positive thing, like we're trying to make it to this addiction. But yeah, it's an interesting project that doesn't get enough light. So for me, it was exciting to be attached to it. And also I'm very close friends with David. We've trained together. We still continue to train together. So it's an honor to be part of something that he's collaborated with others on. So yeah, it was just a great opportunity for me to join the movement, I guess. And I play the character Ryan, who's a punter, a very aggressive, angry punter. I guess my character is just a very frustrated, angry man who's after something. He's after something. I don't want to give too much away, but he's after something from the character who Jenny plays. And I guess for me, it was about just trying to find something real. First and foremost, anytime I approach a role, for me, what's more important, obviously you do your work, but the most important thing is just to try and create something real. Because, when audience watch this, they want to see something real. They want to connect to it. Because if they don't connect to it, they switch off. I switch off if I don't connect to something. So I guess that was the main sort of focus approaching this. It was it's the opening scene, isn't it? But for me, it was just important to just capture something authentic, and I hope I was able to do that and execute that. Biggest challenge in taking this role? I guess setting the tone, because it is the opening scene, so it's setting the tone and making sure it's right, making sure it's not over the top, it's not contrived. You want to create someone who's frustrated, angry for whatever reason, but you don't want to overdo it where it becomes a caricature. So it's making sure that I was able to set the right tone for the rest of the actual movie to develop and evolve in the right way, if that makes sense. The discipline of acting. Yeah, what attracted me to that? I guess it's always been a dream, but confidence overshadowed that from a young age. So I didn't have the right confidence, or it's a dream, innit? It's not real. You can't be an actor. You tell, especially come up growing up with, African parents. They've come from a different environment. So you're going to tell them, Dad, I want to be an actor. Say, hey, it doesn't translate like that until you start showing them, Dad, I've just been booked for a Hollywood movie. And they say, oh, okay, so how much are they paying? Then it changes. And it's not just based on the fact that it's money. It's not just that. It's based on the fact that, okay, it's real now. Because coming from that world is very much a big dream, a Western dream almost. As much as there's an industry growing in Africa, it is this big Western dream of becoming an actor. And the journey there is a very lonely journey. And you don't really start getting paid for a very long time, unless you're lucky. Some people come out of drama school and stroll into a role. And then from there, it snowballs. And that's amazing. That's perfect. But it doesn't always happen like that. And it takes a lot of perseverance. So I kind of approached acting at a young age, and I stopped it because of my confidence issues. And I think it was a good thing, because I've now been able to reapproach it with maturity, with found the right foundations I needed in order to sort of navigate at this stage of my life where I think I'm going to be useful in that world. So the discipline part, I guess, comes from just self-discovery, learning about yourself. There's so much more to acting than what meets the eye, which I find the most exciting part. Just discovering stuff about yourself. You can't hide in acting. The camera's on you. It sees everything. It sees your little subtle nuances and what have you. So there's nowhere to hide. So I like the idea of transparency and exposure, because once you've kind of been exposed, there's nowhere else to go, So for me, that's one of the most thrilling parts. And you get to live you get to tell the stories, man. You get to live all these different lives. It is like a fantasy, isn't it? But within that, as much as it's acting, it's finding something real, you know. That's the authentic part. It's making sure people connect to real things, you know. As much as we love to be entertained, it's only when it's real that it changes everything, isn't it? Biggest challenges. Rejection would be nice. I always tell like some of my actor friends, like, you know, we work in a very tough industry where you don't even get rejection. You just don't hear back. So you work on a tape. You see this, you know, self-tape audition come through, and you're like, yes. Get that email from your agent, you know it's on. It's like, right, let's start the work. You call that one friend who you know is really good at taping with you, the actor, and you're really excited about it, and you put all the work into it, you execute, send it, that's it. It's literally like you have to train yourself to almost forget about it, because it's so easy. I remember when I first started getting tapes, and for me it was like, oh man, this role would be amazing. You start sort of fantasizing about you in this role and becoming this character and, you know, leading. And then sometimes you go as far as even imagining like accepting awards for this amazing role you've taken. But again, the discipline and maturity has taught you, you know, do your work, do your tape, submit, let it go. Wait for the new opportunity to, you know, arise. So I always say, you know, the tough part is, you know, dealing with, I say dealing with rejection, but you don't get rejection, but it's just dealing with not knowing, you know, and being able to have that discipline where you can organize yourself and not set your heart on something to be disappointed, because it is a long road. So for me, yeah, it's just, it's nice to, and I think as you evolve as an actor and get more established, you will start getting feedback if you did a tape and you might not have got the role. So that'll be exciting for me, you know, to get to that stage. But I guess it's just about, yeah, self-discipline, patience, and resilience, being resilient and knowing that nothing is personal. Best bit of advice can I give? Look for authenticity. Search deep within and try and be as authentic as possible. Stay true to yourself. Be able to look in the mirror and be happy with what you're seeing. Even if you're not happy, work on it. You need to be patient. You need to be resilient, because if you're not, you're going to struggle. It's not about falling, it's about how many times you can get up. It really is. I know it sounds cliche, but it really is. Like, we fall a lot in our lives. I mean, Michael Jordan's got a quote. I don't know the quote word for word, but it's in regards to babies. Do babies say, hey man, this walking thing is long, I'm not going to do it anymore? No, they continue to just, as much as babies fall on their bum. I think there's a number, thousands. I don't know how many thousands, but there's thousands that babies fall on their bum. In the sort of, on the path of discovering how to walk or run, they fall down so many times, but they just get up. And if you watch a baby, I watch my baby, I've got a 9-month-old. It's not personal. She falls on her bum and she's back up. There's nothing, she's not sort of, she just falls on her bum. It's like a part of the process. And I think they're in that state because babies are not in their head so much. They're still in their instinctive state. So when they fall, their instinct is just to get up without sitting there and feeling sorry for themselves, which I find fascinating. So I'm actually learning a lot watching a baby, my baby, because it just teaches you to sort of remove yourself from self and try and sort of focus more on the instinctive state. And I think you'll benefit a lot more. You know, it won't feel so much weighty. You won't feel so much weight. My dream role to play would be an autistic genius that struggles to discover their genius, but somehow is able to find it with the right guidance. I've got a brother who's autistic, older brothers on the spectrum, and I find him fascinating to observe. I sometimes think he's from another planet. But for me, that would be, you know, thrilling. I find that the most exhilarating, watching the mind evolve, watching amazing discoveries in character. It used to be a superhero as a kid, but I think in recent years, that's kind of like become quite a saturated market. Don't get me wrong, I love watching a superhero movie every now and then. But for me, I like the mind, and I like, you know, the abundance of the mind and the infinite possibilities of discovery. So that would be for me, something exciting to take on.